You know me in the jungle. I've always been an objective player more than I am like a steady ganker.
Yeah.
And being an objective player, this is like my wet dream. If only we could get these NA players to follow up.
All right, we're going live right now. Take 35 of the beginning of Running It Down. Guys, this is a new League of Legends show that no, I'm not cutting it. We're going live here, so get yourself together. Guys, this is a new show that we've been planning for a long time, so we're finally glad, to get it to you on this Friday. This will just be a League of Legends show every week. I think we're planning on doing 2 episodes a week eventually, but we'll start with 1 and then see where we're going from here. So appreciate you guys stopping by. Please do like, comment, subscribe to the video. So I am Q, aka Crypto Q on League of Legends, as well as Dalton here. Dalton, you want to introduce yourself?
What up, though? My name is Dalton, aka Prodigy. Just the best. Period. How y'all doing?
That's a great intro right there. I love that stuff. So basically the way we'll do this, we'll bring it to you twice a week. Episodes will kind of have the structure of, we'll give you the breaking news. We'll hit LCS for the most part, but we will hit on like LEC, Oceania, LCK, stuff like that. And then we'll do gameplay stuff that like we've seen just playing in the games, and basically end the episode, and we'll see where it goes from there. So if you guys want to comment on the videos and let us know, what content we should be bringing you, what content you want to see, please let us know so we can get that to you. But without further ado, man, we're gonna go into episode 1 here. So we got the breaking news to start out with. We got Sett being the new champion that was released on PvE. He's gonna be a bruiser in the top lane, which I think we looked it up pre-episode. The last time Riot brought a bruiser was all the way back with Ornn. Yep. So it's been a while since we've seen a bruiser. What do you think about this release of Sett, man?
I think Riot's trying to keep people entertained for this preseason. They know the viewership's going down, the play rate is going down, especially in North America. They're like, yo, we release 5 champions back to back to back to back before the season starts. Maybe they'll stick around and learn them. I think it's really cool, actually. I think keeping the content fresh as far as gameplay is always a good thing. I mean, that's why games like WoW is kind of dead, in my opinion. Is it's always been the same thing, and they release different types of champions, I guess, and new patches every 3 years, but it's always the base same thing. Whereas with a game like this, it's yeah, you're on the same map, but you can bring out a new champion that changes the whole dynamic of that gameplay, and I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I don't think Riot can keep up with this clip of releasing champions, because obviously, and we'll get to it in a second, Aphelios was just released in the bot lane, but he does have an interesting little I guess just a feature where, how you guys spam emotes or spam character actions. Oh, getting a call. Hold on. He has a character action where he's doing sit-ups, and if you spam that character action, it doesn't reset it. It just makes him do sit-ups faster.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. That is cool, man. Yeah, I'm buying them. I'm top laner now.
Exactly. So you're like all the 12-year-olds that are gonna get mommy's wallet and buy the new champ.
That's right, baby.
I think I just stole your joke, but anyways, we got Aphelios being released. You're an ADC. You like to play around the map, so you're ADC, mid, and jungle for the most part. Also a little bit of support. So you pretty much play everything but top lane. Although I guess
until Sett's released, baby. When he's released, hey, we doing sit-ups.
I would ask you to stop playing mid, because you literally run it down every time.
Man, I mean, when I play on my silver account, I seem to do pretty well. I don't know why it doesn't transfer.
All right, we'll go through Aphelios. I know you've played. I know you've played him a couple times. I've supported you a couple times playing Aphelios, and we've done well. But playing against other people, maybe it's because you are the prodigy that we keep winning against Aphelios. But it'll be interesting to see what the win rate is in a couple of weeks, because he seems pretty complicated.
I mean, yeah, you're totally right. He's complicated as heck when you first get on him. There's no other champion in the game even relatively close to as different as he is. Every champion in the game right now has 4 abilities, Q, W, E, R, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every champion. This guy has Q and W. He does have his R, but it's not. His R is It's basically like his Q when he has the snipe. It's so complicated to even get through. He's got 5 different weapons. You have to pay attention to what each weapon has a different passive, basically.
Hmm.
So like certain guns do rooting, certain guns do extra damage on the auto attack after you land your Q. It's just so much more mechanics to learn and work through because it's not like Lucian where you got your 2 guns and you Q and then you get double tap, right? That's like, okay, we understand that. This guy has a different double tap for every one of his weapons. So it's totally different. So new, so different, and I like it a lot. I think he'll be really hard to learn, but it's one of those champions I feel like the skill cap's so high that once you get good at him, you'll probably fucking smurf on everyone.
So who does he remind you the most? Is he like, because he kind of like, just watching him from afar, he like reminds me of Jin, right? Like he's doing a ton of damage. He doesn't have like obviously a lot of like attack speed when it comes to like he's about like nuking obviously the enemies there. So who does he remind you of most? Like Jin?
I'd say Jin or Kate, only because I mean Kate with less mobility, only because he does have his one gun, which is like a sniper, so he can like pop you from behind the minions. He doesn't
Okay,
have to walk up through them. Um, Jin the same. He's got good attack range. His ult is super far range. Aphelios' ult is also really far range. They're definitely similar. Uh, Jin is probably the best comparison just because of the no mobility on either champion. If
gotcha.
you're caught type of stuff. Um, I do think he'll be really cool. I've not seen anyone good at him yet, so like every time we play against him, it's just like Freelo. But I mean, you could say the same thing when Yumi came out. She was pretty Freelo. Every champion when they first come out, everybody wants to hop on it, and nobody knows what the heck they're doing. So, but I think he'll be definitely. I can't wait to see him in pro play. I can't wait to see like double lift or like bang on Aphelios popping off. Like Uzi or somebody like that with the super god-like mechanics on him.
Is anybody playing like VODs right now? Like, is anybody playing Aphelios that you've like looked
Not
up?
that
Because
I've
you could
seen.
not that you've seen. Okay,
I seen Uzi play him in at All Stars, and
got you.
it was his first time ever playing him, and he still looked like he knew what he was doing. I was like, okay, dude,
Uh,
okay, dude.
Tell me about All Stars because you told me you watched All Stars and it wasn't that entertaining.
All who?
All Stars.
When also where? It was boring, boys. Like the coolest thing about it was probably the tandem mode where you got one person on the keyboard, one person on the mouse. That's like the coolest thing when you see like
Uh,
a Lee Sin do like an inset kick and it's 2 different players, and you're like, okay, bro, I can barely pull that off on my own shit. But I mean, another thing, they had TFT at All Stars this year. Some people liked it. A lot of people didn't like it because of the schedule. Because I mean, that game isn't for everybody. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people do like it. But they had it in the middle of the day, and I saw a lot of like Reddit threads and like posts on YouTube and different stuff like that about how if they were gonna put it in, they shouldn't have forced it in the center of the day. They maybe put it in at maybe the beginning or the end of the day so people can choose whether or not to tune in to watch it. They don't have to be like stuck like, oh god, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you know? That I mean, other than that, it was Double Lift didn't show up, Bjergsen didn't go. It was pretty boring for me. The only like NA people there were I think Core JJ was there, but I mean it wasn't as hype as past ones, but it's always hype when you have like Bjergsen versus hype Faker or something in the 1v1 tournament,
yeah.
It's always
Yeah.
fun to watch.
I've
But
seen replays of those.
yeah.
Those are pretty fun. So we got TCS coming up, and then we'll hit the patch notes before we get into LCS. But so tell me about TCS. You said there's like a 50K winner pool there, right?
Yeah, man. Tyler's going all out. He said there's no second place, there's no third place. You either win or you go home with nothing. Period. Winner takes all. There's 5 players on your team, 50K, 10K apiece. That's it. That's it. Done.
And he's posting this on his Twitch.
Yep. He'll be broadcasted on his Twitch. It's sponsored and funded all by him from his website and his stream and everything else. I mean, it's all his. He's done it for a couple years now. I mean, probably 4 or 5, but either way, it's like last year he broke like Twitch record or something crazy like that. He literally beat out Riot for viewership as far as the world championship on his TCS.
Goodness, great. He's literally
That's
putting that.
crazy,
I
dude.
don't even know. I don't even know who the next closest streamer is to Tyler. Like as far as league goes. I mean,
League?
it would probably be Yasuo, but
Maybe Mo. Um, yeah, League. He's kind of like it right now as far
yeah,
as I mean, you got XQC, but he plays like He's React
He's
Andy.
everything. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I need to look that up, man. Like, who are the top streamers by numbers on League right now? Because getting like I think he's getting like 14, 15K every
Yeah, he had like
time.
19 last night just playing regular
Sheesh.
games.
That dude's gonna pull bank, man, and that's got no time to stop. So TCS should be fun. I do want to hit the patch notes before we go into LCS real quick. This was kind of obviously a release of Aphelios, so we'll see how he does and see what his win rate looks like. There was some, and I'm looking at these now. I think I pulled up the TFT ones on accident, but
The one I
basically,
want to get into would be like the Diana.
yeah, Diana and
I think
Yumi. I
she
think,
had a pretty huge change. Just because it's like she has the same abilities pretty much. They changed some of the numbers a little bit, but mainly it was her E changed to her R and her R changed to her E, which is kind of big when your E ability is your dash now, so it's up a lot sooner in my opinion.
mm.
Um, and her R is her E, so she can like ER and pull everyone in, and it does more damage and different stuff with her new E, or her new R that was her E. Riot.
So it's obviously like an FX update, but as far as like nerf or buff, what is it?
I think it's definitely a buff. I think it's a hard buff actually. I've been seeing her pop off, and from what I hear, if you go like aftershock on her,
Mm-hmm.
it's nuts. Just because you can do your full combo into a team, and then you got your R popping off like that. And I don't know if her new R, which is her E, has on her old abilities when you QR'd, you get a reset on your R because you had the moonlight, so you could like jump to people twice.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
if she can do the E twice after she lands Moonfall, that'd be super cool. Or I guess it's not Moonfall, it's Crescent Strike. But if she could do that, that'd be kind of broken. So I think it's a buff overall from what I can see in games that I played against her. But I mean, time will tell, right?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that win rate goes because I think she was already doing pretty well in the mid lane. But there was a couple others. Let's go to the bot lane here. So we got Senna got a lot of nerfs. So I would say like the passive miss rate drop went from like 5% to 1%. I know you were talking about how the thresh drop was different.
Yeah, yeah. I knew when we first played her because I bought her day one, tried her out. I got to try to hop on the bandwagon of Broken Champions, and I just noticed like instantly. It was like, dude, I've played Thresh a bunch of times. I've seen Threshes. You've never seen Threshes soul drop that much. Like 2 per wave. It's like what?
Yeah,
You're instantly like 60 by the time you're like level 8 or 9, and you're just insane. Like it's too hype.
Yeah, we played Clash this past weekend with our team, and like we were in ban mode, and everyone was like, "Okay, we got to ban Caitlyn," and you were literally like, "Hey, no, we need to ban Senna. Like Senna needs the ban," and we are like, "No, we can't deal with the Caitlyn in this lane. Like too much of a bully factor." But the Senna ended up like carrying. She was diamond, so she might have carried on anything she played. But she definitely like took over that game. But Yumi's got a couple differences here. So like the U and me, her W, you can't if I jump out of an ADC, I have to like channel to get in, or even just to get in the first time, I need a channel. You can jump freely between champions, but that channel is going to be huge because, like you said before the episode, like when you're trying to dodge skill shots, when you're trying to dodge hooks, that
Yeah,
W helps so much to bait those out. And then E also, her zoomies heals only once, so you can't stack, but it heals for a little bit more. A couple
yeah.
different changes there. And then the last one, and you can touch on Yumi here, but the last one is Braum. So Braum got a ton of buffs as well. I think his ult does more knock up. Let me look at it here. Yeah, what do you think about that Yumi before I move on?
I just think honestly with her, I think she's gonna be like half dead now. That's gonna be
Yeah,
so hard to play around. I mean, her biggest thing is being able to like Q someone, get the slow, hop out, get the auto, get the shield, hop back on, give the AD carry that shield, and now that's all delayed by however long that channel is gonna end up being. And I know from being like a Blitzcrank player and stuff, when I see a Yumi, I'm like, well, now
can't
no
hook
point
her.
even throwing it at her because she's instantly, as soon as I Q her, she's gonna jump back into the AD carry, and now it's just gonna be like I feel like she's so much more vulnerable. And if your AD carry isn't like 100% on the same page, you could get just screwed because you're trying to channel and he runs out of range or something. I just feel like it could be a whole world of mess for her. I think it's a heck of a nerf for her.
Yeah, she's going to be way less of an independent cat. I think you're going to have to like stay in your ADC a little bit more, which is going to piss a lot of ADCs off because she's
Yeah,
already
yeah,
AFK. But
yeah,
yeah, Braum got his knock up to his ult. I think he got some W cooldown, resistance ratios were flattened, so it's going to be stronger earlier. So Braum definitely got a buff. You'll probably see more of him in the bot lane. But other than that, man, like there's some other small little nerfs and buffs to other champions, but I think we went through it. So we'll move on to LCS here. A lot of big news in the preseason, man. Just as like a disclaimer here, so I started playing MOBAs in I believe in like 2013. So 2013, 2014 started with League, and I think I moved to Dota, and then like came back to League. It's a very weird. I know I'm gonna get crucified for even saying that, but Dalton is way more or Prodigy is way more into the LCS and the Pro Leagues than I am, or at least has been for a long time. So as these episodes go on, I'll be better at this LCS news and trading barbs with Prodigy. But to start off with, you've got the floor with this LCS stuff, man, because you've been way more involved. Other than my beautiful 100 Thieves, I'll be able to work on that.
All right, thank you. So starting out, I just want to touch on, because it's nothing 100% yet, and it can be ran over quick. I think we need to address what if these format rumors that we're hearing go through. What do people think? What do you guys think? If you have an idea or comment or how they should do it, or if they keep it how they say they're going to do it, what do you think about it? So far, what we can tell is they're going to make it where the games are played on Saturday and Sunday. There's rumors that they might change the time when they're played. I'm not sure. Like I said, nothing's 100%. But also, they're going to have a Monday game, which is definitely a whole different. And how do they choose that? Nobody knows yet. I think it might be a pre-written schedule like before, but they're going to have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday be game days. And the only way I can compare it would be like a Monday night football game. You have Monday night league. I guess you get home from work and you could see the two best teams play, or maybe it might be the two worst teams, 100 Thieves, Golden Guardians. So
that's gonna be a season long thing until we get back to the playoffs somehow.
Yeah. So you won't know. I mean, I don't know yet, but it's also definitely very cool to talk about. And I think it is a cool thing. I think if they do that, I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be worth it. I like it.
Yeah, when you brought it up the first time, like my first question was, are they going to be able to flex games? So like I like what you said, I would love to come home on Monday and like be able to watch a game on Monday night. But if that game is like, or I was going to say Echo Fox, but obviously Echo Fox isn't there anymore. But Golden Guardians and like maybe FlyQuest is doing poorly. I know I could say 100 Thieves in that spot, but I'm not gonna diss my boys like that. But hopefully they're able to like flex the games. I know it would be great to see like every team in that Monday slot, but if they can like flex the best game of the week into that Monday night, that would be sick.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, that would be the coolest way to do it, because they're all about trying to put out content. So maybe they do that. Maybe like the top 4 teams get to play, and then like you have to fight for a spot to make it on Monday nights or something. That'd be a cool way to do it.
That's a good idea. Yeah, you got to call Riot up, man.
Hey, show me the money. Anyway, but yeah, let's get into what you want to talk about, the Damonte?
Yeah. So we put this dashboard together like all week, and we were kind of updating it. But Damonte and Pobelter both like were out of work up until I believe like Wednesday or Tuesday, and it looks like Pobelter got picked up by Team Liquid. So obviously you're a Team Liquid fanboy.
That's right, boys.
So you'll be talking about that.
My jersey.
Yeah, you need to, dude. That would have been sick. But Damonte is still out of work, so it will be interesting to see where he ends up during the season. I'm sure if he's not picked up before the season, once the team starts, doing poorly, maybe starts out with a couple losses, maybe he'll get the call.
Sidebar to that, Damonte and Pobelter are both NA mids, or North American homegrown talent, and Golden Glue, who plays for Golden Guardians this season, is the only North American mid laner in LCS this year so far. Just a little sidebar to be like, God, dude, we got like all imported mid laners for all 9 teams except for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, I mean, what do you attribute to that? Like, why would that be the case? You just don't have any mid laners in NA? Like,
we all suck.
It's easily the most played position in League of Legends. Like, you think you would get like have a bigger pool of players to pick from, but yeah, I mean, it's highly competitive, I guess.
Yeah, especially when you have people that play better in other roles, as far as like support or jungle or top. and you can import someone that's like twice as good as any homegrown talent. So why wouldn't they? I mean,
Mm.
just like NFL players, the same reason they draft them is for, well, why would I look for someone out of high school when I got a 3-year Pro Bowl? You know,
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, I mean that's a good side note there. But as far as LCS, we didn't do it in any certain order. We have Team Liquid here. I put them first because they did. They are having success recently.
that's right.
I put 100 Thieves second because y'all are my boys. And then we just pretty much picked a random order. So don't think we're like ranking these by any means, at least yet.
Not yet, not yet. So for Team Liquid to start it out, we got our same roster. We added Broxa instead of Smithy. That's the only change this season. My biggest thing was I wanted to see if you guys thought if Broxa would be like a side grade. Would he be an upgrade? Do you think he's going to be better? Do you think he's going to play better with Jensen, being that they're both European? They speak the same language. What do you guys think about that as far as how it's going to go? I think I like Smithy a lot. I don't know. I was an Immortals fan back in the day, so I'm neither here nor there on that one. Pobelter signed on as an assistant coach to Kane. So I guess this just kind of gives him an opportunity to learn or see if he likes that way about going, because he could still come back next season or halfway through the season and find a spot after the spring split. We don't know. But he just said he wanted to give it a try, see how he liked it. And of course, with a coach like Kane, why wouldn't you take the opportunity to learn from him? So I think that's going to be really cool. And I think I'll let you talk about your homies here, dude.
Yeah, no, I want to hit Team Liquid because the one thing I can say about TL, is like, when are they going to win the big one, man? Like, when are they going to put it together? They've been North American champs multiple times. They had that huge win against TSM, that comeback. Yeah, you can put those down. But when are they going to win the big one? When are they going to show up at Worlds, man? I know they got out of their group. They got out of their group in this past Worlds,
Nope.
correct? No.
Bullif's never gotten out of groups.
Gotcha.
I'm telling you what, the only next thing to do, hey, get rid of Dublin. All 5 imports.
Wow.
You're gonna win Worlds that way, boys. You'll win Worlds. Hey, Steve's gonna do it. He's got a pocketbook, brother.
Cloud9 got out of groups and Team Liquid didn't. Is basically
not
what
this
you're telling
season,
me.
but last season, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll move on to 100 Thieves here. We've got a roster here of Someday, Medios, Ryoma, Cody Sun, and Stunt. So Someday's obviously back from his holiday, owning the Academy League, pretty much self-carrying the 100 Thieves Academy.
1v9, dude.
Yeah, basically. If anybody could 1v9 anything, it would be Someday. It just wasn't working for whatever reason. So we were kind of obviously who was our coach? Wow, I'm blanking really hard. He just got fired. Yeah. So that'll tell you something. But Prolly. Yeah. So Prolly was like trying different combinations out, and it kind of sucked to put Someday on the bench there. But he is obviously an import, so we had to move some stuff around. But it's good that we have the boys back together. We've got Cody's son. We've got Medios. Stunt is from the Academy, so he's brought up. And then Ryoma is kind of the biggest question mark here other than Stunt. It'll be interesting to see how an Oceanic mid laner would be. I'm surprised they wouldn't bring in like Pobelter was open. Why not just
why wouldn't you take Pobelter, dude? He's a 3-time world champ or NA champion.
Right? Maybe they thought he was washed, dude. Maybe they thought he was washed. But
yeah, but you brought in Oceanic talent? Question mark, boys.
It's a huge question mark. So we'll be able to see what they do. I'm kind of glad they got rid of. So with all these incoming rosters, like obviously there's outgoing. So we got rid of Bang. We got rid of Afro. And I say got rid of, but like they might have chosen to left on their own.
I think most of them went in like free agency, and the team was like, we're going to look at our options. Mm-hmm. So you might as well look at your options too. And I think a lot of the teams this season was more or less a couple of trades, but everybody just kind of picked which way they went.
Yeah. And I think you're right. So like Amazing left as well. And that's one I'm kind of sad to see go. I think when we brought in Amazing, it kind of changed our season around. Like we didn't really have that like strong voice. I love Afro, dude, but he like one of the reasons why I think he's gone to begin with is that we brought in Medios. It looked on The Heist, one of like the big digital like documentary series. It looked like him and Medios were feuding that first year. When they had success, but it still looked like there was some feuding. So I don't know if they could like get along this season. So anyways, 100 Thieves, like I think they come back and have a good season. Obviously having Someday in the top lane is going to be better than Fake God. So, and
Yeah.
Medios has chosen, Medios has shown to be a really good jungler. So, we'll move on to Cloud9. We got TSM. We got a bunch to hit. So let's have lightning rounds now. We got
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we got our two favorites. We go lightning through everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
All right, moving on to LEC.
Right. True. So Selfmade is joining now. All right, we got Cloud9 up next. They swapped out a couple of people. Their bot lane, I think, right? So now they have, instead of Sneaky and Zazel in the bot lane, they have Licorice, Blabber, Niski, and they brought in Sven and Vulcan. Vulcan is pretty good from what I've seen. You could blame it on the team he was on last season or the season before as to why he hasn't popped off or seen much. But as far as I could tell, he's mechanically good. I don't know how good he's going to be under pressure, like how good they're going to do versus a like Cloud9 or I mean not a Cloud9, like a TSM or a TL when the pressures or the heat's really on against a good AD carry bot or something. But I think it's going to be pretty good, and we'll see if Sven can make a difference on Cloud9 that he couldn't on TSM, huh?
Ooh, that's a dig there. So we got Vulcan in for 1.5 mil though. That's what I want to touch on. So
Yeah,
1 point.
they bought Vulcan for $1.5 million. It was like a contract buyout, so he didn't get paid that. The orgs bought it from Dignitas. So Cloud9 went to Dignitas, was like, yo, 1.5 for his contract. And they're like, yeah, fuck yeah, you know what I'm saying? They took it. And he went to Cloud9 for 1.5 million. So he must be pretty dang good. They must see something on the scouting grounds or wherever they look at the characters at or the champion, the players at to see how good they are, because 1.5 million is a lot of guap.
Yeah, Zazel's playing on EG now, so I think EG's got a pretty strong team that they put together. But where is Sneaky playing? Is he in LEC?
Sneaky is currently still on Cloud9 as a on the like team. He's on the payroll or whatever you want to say, but he hasn't gone into free agency. His contract wasn't up and nobody wanted to buy it out. So as far as that goes, I think Jack said if he found somewhere that would take him, he would let him go. If I read that correctly when I was watching a bunch of the Sneaky interviews, but he's kind of just waiting around to see what he wants to do. He's trying out the content creator route right now. Just wants to see if he does that full time.
Mm,
So I think Sneaky might be taking a season off or a split off maybe or whatever. But as far as right now, we have no info. He's just kind of like, I'm gonna do this for now. Good luck.
interesting. And I wonder what the reasoning behind that, but they did have a pretty solid bot lane there. We've got Dignitas. Oh no, we got TSM to hit. I know Dardoch, found his way to TSM. What do you think about that?
I think it's gonna be another wipe, dude. It's gonna be a whole blow up again. Dardoch is like Winnie Pooh in a freaking beehive, man. He's just always gonna go for the honey. He's never gonna learn to not get stung, right? Every team he goes to, he just acts the same way. And before he said, "I changed. I've matured, and I just don't see it." And
For
I
the
don't
for
have anything wrong with him. I just think he's a toxic a-hole, and he doesn't get along with any team members.
for those people that like don't know what Dardoch's been doing, and myself included, again, like I'm gonna get better at this. I haven't been following the pro scene. What did Dardoch? What are the past events that Dardoch's been
It was
associated with?
just a bunch of teams that he was on. Like he's been on like 5 teams now, and some of them aren't in the league anymore. But every time it's always he's getting benched or booted for not being able to work with his team or being too toxic or being like just random stuff about being too much. He like
Got it.
doesn't know how to work with a team or take criticism. But again, he was younger then. He's been out for like a year and a half. Maybe he's matured enough or realized I can't be 12 years old and blow up on people when they don't
Flame.
listen. Yeah, you know. So I was just say he was just super toxic and nobody wanted to play with that. Which I mean, you're supposed to be a professional, so in that sense, you're getting paid that much money. You better get your act right and focus on the game, not being a dick.
Yeah, I think there's a ton of not a ton, but there's definitely some players that like are associated with being toxic and associated with kind of flaming their teammates more than they should. So it's
Doublelift was for the longest time. That's why they got rid of him off of TSM.
yeah, I remember that. So we got Dignitas. Hooney got, speaking of like big contracts that Vulcan got, Hooney is rumored to have been paid, and this is himself, right? This isn't like
Yeah, I got an actual sidebar on that. He doesn't even have a manager. He negotiated this deal and finalized it and everything all himself. All
interesting.
Hooney. Dude's a genius.
Yeah, and his play has been okay. His play has been okay of late. Like he's not like the strongest top laner. that I've
He's
seen.
Hooney, baby.
Yeah.
Top dead.
So Dignitas picked up Afro. They've got Johnson, who is like just pretty much an unknown at this
Yeah.
point, and then Froggen and Greg. But what do you think about Dignitas' chances here?
I actually like the team. Except for Johnson. We'll see how he works out in the AD carry position. But I know Greg was always a good macro player for TSM when he was their jungle. Hooney's always been competitive. He's never I mean, except for when he was on like Immortals, maybe he was considered one of the best next to Hanser and TSM. Um, but I think he's always going to perform and he's always going to pull these crazy like rumble tops out and pop off. It's just the Hooney style. He's all about being flashy and all about Hooney. So I think that's cool. Froggen, I've always liked. I've always liked Froggen's gameplay. I mean, he's a Nivea kid. You can't hate that. Somebody makes a Nivea famous, pretty much. Um, we'll see what Johnson does, and I hope Afro gets his groove back. Hey, like Rush Hour, man. Back in the day, double lift and Afro, the shit was hype. He was
Yeah,
always great, but
I don't, I don't,
last couple of years he just lost it, man.
I don't know what happened with Afro. I think he lost his like love of the game a little bit. Like you could tell, like the way
Yeah,
he would, like the amount he was streaming went down. How he kind of looked when he was playing was down. It just looked like maybe 100 Thieves like had way too much of the lights almost were too shiny at 100 Thieves. And I know that's
yeah.
kind of weird because he obviously like played on good teams in the past, but I don't know what it was, man, but hopefully I wish the best for Afro. Like I really hope he does well in Dignitas. Speaking of a great top laner, or speaking of good top laners, we've got FlyQuest, man, Vipers in the top lane. The one trick Riven.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm happy to see Santorin over there.
Yeah.
Honestly, we got Santorin stayed with him. I think he was with them last season. Wild Turtle stayed with them, so they got new people in 3 different roles. Maybe that's going to be the switch up they needed. We got Viper top lane, the Riven kid. Santorin in the jungle, PoE, Power of Evil in the mid lane. The unorthodox kid is what I like to call him because he just pick random stuff and like go the weirdest runes with the weirdest build to try to be like I'm trying to carry my team. So we'll see. But we got Wild Turtle, one of the late great AD carries. Always second to double if it seems in NA. He's always been noticed as the second best AD carrier. Like when he was on Immortals and TSM and Immortals were back and forth, it was always like, well, he's good, but he's not double lift. So we'll see if maybe he can make his return this season. And Ignar came over from Europe. Always one of the best supports over in Europe. Honestly, he's actually a nut job. So I'm excited to see what he brings.
Yeah, I just want to touch on one thing. We talked about TSM and we didn't even hit Bjergsen. So that is funny.
Yeah, but he's just Bjerg, bruh.
Yeah. But yeah, Santorin, I think Santorin's like one of the better junglers in NA right now. Yeah, I think a lot of the imports that we bring in from outside, I don't know much about. So like Ignar, I don't know exactly what he's been up to. But Wild Turtle's surely been one of the better ADCs. It looks like man to man, this should be a really good team. It just like can FlyQuest put it together. That's the only
I
thing
honestly think this might be one of the like most competitive seasons. I
for like overall or for
for
FlyQuest.
LCS
Okay, yeah.
overall. Like I see the team comps, and you always have your like, okay, well, Team Liquid's probably going to do the same thing as last season, but I mean, it could just not work out with Broxy. You don't know yet. It
Hmm.
could Broxy could just be a big, huge like thorn in the side, or something could go bonk, and we could blow up in mid-season. So, but if you look at these lineups, like just run down it, you see 100 Thieves with that lineup, you see Cloud9 with that lineup, and none of them are just like god awful. It's
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
well, I could see their strengths and I could see where the question marks are. How are they going to perform on stage when it comes Saturday, Sunday, and maybe Monday?
Yeah, I mean, you could say a lot of that for like in the preseason of last season, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
they got a really strong lineup here, but it just never worked out. So that's a good point. One of the like most unknown rosters, at least to me, is this Immortals team. Soaz, Xmithy, Ika, Altec, and Hakuho. I don't know much about this team, so you're gonna have to carry me here.
So as
Obviously, X Smithy is gonna have to like maybe carry the entire
yeah,
team, but
yeah, maybe. I hope he does, dude. I want to see Smithy shine again, man. He was always good for us, so I wish nothing bad for him. Um, Smithy back to Immortals. That was a team he was on a couple years back when we were just talking about like Immortals versus TSM. Soaz, a European top laner, he's old school. He's been around. It's not guaranteed. The Soaz is a rumor right now. It's not official. Nothing's been pronounced. Like it's just rumblings as far as we know at this moment.
mm,
Uh, Ika, I am not sure at all. It's a mid laner. I think it's another Oceanic if I remember correctly, but I don't know as far as history goes. Um, who else? Altec. Altec has always been consistent, I guess.
Mhm.
He's never been the pop-off kid. Um, I feel like he's middle of the pack, 80 carry wise, not bad. Hakuo, he's a beast. He's the Thresh god. I guarantee they ban Thresh against Hakuo every game. He's nuts, dude. Okay, but no, I mean I think that's a pretty good lineup according to how Ika and if Soaz does come or not. We'll see how they get if they get Soaz top.
So if Soaz isn't there, who's going to play top?
They didn't even have. There's nothing you can look up for their roster. It just says so as rumored. So we have no
Wow.
idea. It might be a fill spot from the academy, boys.
Gotcha. Yeah, that'll probably be the fill. So we've got Evil Geniuses here. They've assembled a pretty good squad. Who, before we go on, obviously Echo Fox and Optic Gaming are no longer in the LCS, at least under those names. Who took the names? So who took the actual franchises? So Evil Geniuses was a
Evil
part of LCS.
Geniuses bought Fox, I think.
Okay,
But they were old school part. They're like from the olden guard. Evil
gotcha.
Geniuses from back in the day. They've been a gaming org since like
They have.
1999 or something like that. It's been nuts.
So
So they're old school.
and then Optic Gaming became Immortals,
Yes.
and then Dignitas must be then Clutch, correct?
Yeah, Dignitas bought Clutch
Okay.
or bought their spot or whatever, however it
Yeah,
works.
it's like you basically, when you buy a franchise, you almost have like a I wouldn't even know what to call it, to be honest, but basically you buy that spot and someone's got to buy it from you. So
Yeah.
we've got Evil Geniuses here. Again, they put together a pretty good squad. They got Kumo top, Sven Skaren in the jungle. I don't know how to say this.
Jizuki?
Jizuki,
Jizuke.
and then we've
Yeah.
got Bang and Zazel in the bottom lane. Obviously, I can talk on Bang here. He never really panned out. I don't know if that's basically with his partnership with Afro, but to be honest, like even in the mid to late game, Bang never kind of fulfilled what we thought he was going to fulfill on 100 Thieves. So it'll be interesting to see, what happens with Bang in the NA as like a story in general. But Zazel's going to be if you could find a better support, he's probably only going to be on TL. So that's a great support for him to have.
Yeah. I think they're actually gonna pop off this season because they both play a more pacifist lane. They're both super like when you've seen Sneaky and Zazel last season, it's always like farm to 30 minutes, group up and team fight, make shot calls. And Bang, he was in China or Korea, sorry. And when he played with Faker, he never had to be that guy. He always sat back, wait for Faker to get us to mid game, and then we pop off.
Got it.
It was always a mid to late game pop off character. So I think this is a perfect match, honestly.
That's a good point because 100 Thieves brought him in to almost carry the team, right?
Yeah.
Like 100 Thieves was like, you need to, pop off early. You need to like carry us through these games, where that's not his role at all at SKT. So that's an absolutely great point. I don't know much about the rest of them. Obviously, Sven Skaren comes over. But what do you think about the Evil Geniuses? And then we'll move on.
Jizuke is the Italian stallion from Europe. He played for Rip. I don't remember because they were irrelevant. But no, he was a god. He was pretty dang good. His last split was kind of wishy-washy, but his first two splits were he was popping off like top number 1, 2 next to like Caps,
Yeah.
So he was really good. He calls himself the Italian Stallion, so I mean it's a pretty cool nickname though. Sven Skaren, last year's MVP for NA, he's probably gonna pop off again. He's been consistent since he was on TSM, so I don't see why he wouldn't have the same result here unless him and Suzuki can't find common ground, but they're both European as well. And so maybe they have some sort of synergy there with being able to know language barrier. Maybe they could make calls in like weird little like European language. Like,
what do you think about Sven Skaren leaving TSM?
I think it was bound to happen anyway. That's why you saw so much blabber being timed in and switching roles, even though you have the MVP of the league on there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So we've got Golden Guardians and CLG. We'll run through these real quick. Hanser, Closer, Golden Glue, FBI, and Keith. Keith obviously had that role swap from ADC to support. Don't know much about Golden Guardians. Obviously, Hanser is going to be a solid top laner for them going forward, and then Golden Glue in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think this season, I think they'll be better than last season, I hope. I don't know how well Keith is going to transfer from AD carry to support. We'll see. I guess he's got the mechanics now, so we'll see how it transfers over, but that's all to be seen. FBI, what we did see of him last season wasn't nothing to write home about, but maybe, I mean, a year in the pro and maybe a few more games under his belt, maybe the prodigy kid can come out. We'll see. Um, Golden Glue, you know, he's a Golden Glue. He's a kid. He's the only NA fucking mid laner in all of the LCS, so I'm kind of rooting for him, honestly. Um, Closer, I know he has rumblings over there, but I'm not sure how good he actually was. I never watched him play, so I can't really touch on that. Haunter's been solid. He's always been solid. He's
Hmm.
been a good clutch player as far as like holding it down, winning his lanes, and making good plays like late game team fights. You saw him on Gnar back in the day on TSM, popping off, getting 5-man ultis and stuff. So it's the same thing to expect from this season, and maybe Golden Glue can carry Golden Guardians. We'll see.
Yeah, they finished, I believe. Let's see, they finished seventh last season, so it'll
Yeah,
be interesting to see. But they were a little bit above Echo Fox as well as FlyQuest, so it'll be interesting to see where they finish up. So we got CLG, Ruin, Wiggly, Crown in the mid lane, Stixay, and Smoothie. Obviously, I know a little bit about Stixay. He's done real well. I think he's kind of an underrated ADC
he
at this
definitely is.
at this point. So it'll be interesting to see if he can continue his ascent into like one of the better ADCs in NA. Not much I know about the rest of the squad. So take it away, man.
Um, well, we all saw what Ruin did last year. He's not gonna be like Impact or he's not gonna be someday or nothing,
Mm.
but he's solid. He could play his tanks. Don't put him on don't put him on what was it, Gangplank? Yeah, don't put him
What
on
did he run it
Gangplank.
down on that?
I'm pretty sure he had like one of the worst games of the season on Gangplank, if I remember. Um,
Good. I hate
Wiggly,
gangplanks.
Wiggly, I think I'm not sure about Wiggly. I haven't seen we seen him what last season? I'm not sure how I feel about him. I never remember being like, "Holy crap, Wiggly outplayed," but I don't have anything bad to say about him. So maybe we can see some good stuff from him this season when
Mm.
the game starts. Well, Crown, he's a world champion. He didn't work out. What was it, FlyQuest? Or no, it was Optic. He didn't work out on Optic. I didn't see anything impressive from him. I think we had better mid laners already than him. So we'll see if he can maybe prove himself this season. And I'm not trying to be down about every person I talk about. I'm just being honest, guys. If I don't see something impressive, I'm not gonna comment on it. Um,
Yeah, I think it's fair to kind of like frame it in like a world sense too, because like you can go in NA and say like, oh, these guys have been really good in NA, but you got to look at these teams in comparison to like the worlds as well, because
yeah,
you can't sit here and say like that a sixth place team in NA is gonna get like even do not well, like even do normal against one of the teams that are at worlds. Like you
yeah.
have to frame it in that sense. So I like the way you do it. You got to be tough on these teams. That's the only way they start to get better.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean that'd be like if you see G2 come over here to scrim all of our bottom half teams, they probably never drop a game.
Exactly,
So
they wouldn't.
it's just you gotta have higher standards. Stixay, I think Stixay is like second, third best AD carry in all of North America, next to like Cody's son. I
Yeah,
think they're both about tied.
yeah, I would agree with that. So I mean, we made it through all of LCS, man.
Wait, where is Cody's son?
Cody Son's on 100 Thieves. Yeah.
We need to.
Hater, dude, hater. So look, I think this portion of the episode is like going to be the main portion going forward. Like we're always going to work on LCS news and LCS season, and I think that's going to be like the best content that we do, other than like having you re-out on episodes, and maybe that'll be
Wait,
some
are
good
we not
content.
recording?
No, we're recording. What are you talking about?
Oh, is this part of the show?
Yeah, this is part of the show.
Oh,
And so basically, as we go forward, guys, like that's going to be primarily where we focus on. Let us know like what you want to hear about LCS, because we'll talk about what you guys hear. Eventually, we'll start doing these live so you guys can comment along. But yeah, that's LCS. I mean, it's super interesting to see all the teams like make moves in free agency in the preseason. We never got that exact date on when Spring Split
I
starts.
don't think they've released it yet. Dude, I looked it up and I don't know how many more times I can Google it in a different like sentence. I guess we'll just keep checking it and I'm sure they'll put it on riot.com somewhere eventually.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Another thing I want to mention real quick, guys, is we're also going to be doing, like, between us two, we're going to start doing like a prediction thing when the games start, once we get a release of the schedule, and we can like set it up so when we drop these releases, they have a prediction for the upcoming week. We're going to keep tabs on that. Like and comment who's going to win. If you choose the right person at the end of this split, or the end of we're doing per split, you get $50. So might as well like and comment. All right.
Damn, dude. We're not the only ones dropping, or Tyler's not the only ones dropping money. We're dropping some
Right,
cash
babe.
too.
Hey.
So we're gonna hit LEC, we're gonna hit LCK, as well as like some Oceania stuff very briefly, and then we'll hit the gameplay changes that have happened this season. But before we move on to LEC, give me the top 3 finishing. I know that's kind of an easy thing to do in NA, but give me the top 3, and then kind of a wild card that you think might do well this season. We all know you're gonna put TL number
G2.
1.
Oh,
No, no, no.
for
I'm,
NA, I
I'm
thought you were
talking
talking about
about
Europe. Oh,
no.
Team Liquid. All right, let me take a look real quick. Team Liquid, Team Liquid, Team Liquid. Wait a
Okay.
bitch.
And then who's the wild card? Team Liquid can't be the wild card as well.
Okay, no, for real, we got Team Liquid. I would probably put TSM, and I really just want to say Immortals because Xmithy's on there, but that's not smart. Honestly, I think 100 Thieves because they got Cody Sun. 100 Thieves with Cody Sun and Someday, I think is going to pop off. I think they're number 3 this season, honestly. Obviously, you could have like Evil Geniuses coming in, Suzuki and Svenske, and ruin it all, but I think that's my wild card is Evil Geniuses. Just because they got Bang, Zazel, and Suzuki, Sven, I think that bot lane is going to work super well together.
So I'm gonna say Team Liquid. I'm gonna go with Evil Geniuses and TSM, and then my wild card is gonna be FlyQuest because they have put together a pretty solid roster, and that'll be my guess. I don't think I
You didn't
like
even have 100 Thieves in there? Dude, that roster is solid. Cody Sun was 1v9 last season.
Y'all hurt me last season, man. Y'all, until you show me something in spring, maybe I'll put you guys up there. I'll put us up there in
I at least
summer
gave him my
split.
3rd spot.
Dude, I can't do it, man. I think they're almost overrated in my eyes until they
You
show
see
me
what
that.
you did? You lost his faith.
Yeah, man.
Fix it.
I think losing Prawley is going to probably help us too. So I'm excited there. But let's hit LEC. Let's hit LCK because we do have some portion of the episode left, and let's fly through this.
All right, these are going to be a little bit shorter. Obviously, not as much as far as research done yet. Just quick little subjects we want to touch on. We know Broxa came to Team Liquid, so that means Fnatic had a spot open. They brought up Selfmade, which from what I've heard, I haven't seen him play very much. I think I saw a couple games. What I've heard and seen, he's pretty dang good. We'll see if him and Nemesis can get along. I think that was the problem going on at Fnatic. There's always been some background turmoil going on. That's why they've been kind of struggling. Even though last season they still took G2 to 5 games like 3 times. So it's still like they're a good org, they're a good team. There's some stuff going on. That's why Broxa said he left. It was getting uncomfortable type of stuff. So I think maybe if Selfmade and Nemesis can have more synergy, maybe they could pop off. Maybe they can get back. Another thing I wanted to touch on with LEC, because we all know G2 is the best team right now, assumed just from their last year's performance. What do you guys think about Reckless? Do you think if Reckless shits the bed and they don't make it to Worlds or they don't win another split, do you think he retires this year? You've seen him cry at every single Worlds event and every time he loses finals. Do you think Reckless has had enough of losing? Or I mean, Doublelift's done it. He kept going back, didn't he? At least he wins in his region and then he fails at Worlds. But what do you guys think about Reckless? Do you think he's gonna retire, or do you think maybe he'll switch teams? Do you think he'll leave the org? Comment down below.
Nice. And then we've got LCK and Oceania. Coma's leaving SKT, and then another LCK and another SKT piece of news. Will Faker rise again, or will China remain dominant? I know Faker had that incident in Worlds where people were kind of calling him Shaker and things like that.
Yeah.
That was super interesting to see, man. How literally one of the best SKT teams of all time kind of got like shook in a literal sense.
Yeah, it was definitely eye-opening to see that even someone as revered and as godlike is still a man.
Yeah.
Like he's on that stage and he knows everybody's looking to him. It's been a couple years. He's all they have. Everybody's like, "What's Faker gonna do? All eyes on you." And he gets a little bit shaky, man. You'd be fucking shaky too.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's only what 22, 23, and the whole time he's ever been in the sunshine, it's been all eyes on him, the greatest player of all time, the GOAT, the God. I mean, that's a lot of pressure. And when it comes down to those games where it's like, can I do this? I mean, we've all been in that point in our life at one point where you're just like, I don't know. And you lose it, I mean, it's definitely weird to see when you think of him as such a high character, but it's definitely understandable, and you can't judge the guy for being human.
Yeah.
Um,
I think some of what like SKT's culture kind of plays into that. Like the way they have their culture set up, it's not like a fun, like free flowing
yeah,
culture.
no, dude,
It's
it's like
like
a military, dude.
it really is. So like when something's going bad, it can get very stressful. Like that's obviously the opposite of teams that are just like be super free flowing, but obviously
Yeah.
not as like detail oriented. But one of the things I was saying was like the first time I've ever felt pressure in League of Legends was Clash this weekend. Like you can almost feel, no, I'm serious, dude. Like you can almost feel like the game feels different,
Yeah.
Like, so I don't mean to like trivialize how he felt. Cause obviously he's at Worlds and like all this stuff. But as far as League of Legends goes, like it almost felt different. Like I don't want to make a mistake like that. It's different than like playing
And
norms.
especially when you get into the game and you can just tell that the other team is playing super smart.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
got your buddies over here like, I dare you to flash.
You mean
And you're
you?
just like, oh my, dude. And you get halfway through it and you're like, I'm over it. I
Yeah.
quit. I don't want to play anymore, Bobs. They beat me, bro. It's hard, man. It's a different atmosphere. And even though it's just that, that's why the game is so revered and loved by everyone, is because it can bring that element. Even in a normal game, you get mad that you missed a cannon minion. And I think that's what's going to bring us all together, man. Just the love for the game and the passion that we have behind it.
Oh man, we really just got deep there.
It's a good thing, man. We gotta let them know we ain't all bones and hardness.
Kumbaya here. All right, so we finished the pro scene. We're gonna hit gameplay, and then we're gonna end this episode. This has been a great episode so far, man. I think every episode is gonna be just a little bit better. I'm gonna have a little bit more knowledge as far as the pro scene. I
I'm
think
not
that'll
gonna be
help.
so awkward.
You're not. Yeah, Dalton's gonna actually like bring his A game every week.
I'm gonna try to get a little mic to hold, like a mic stand, a real one, so I don't have to wear a headset.
The
That'd be
headset might
cool.
work, dude. The headset might work. But let's hit.
Should I set my head weird, dog? Don't
Yeah,
cut that.
maybe I would. No,
Don't cut
I'm
that.
not cutting anything. This is all live. This is
Oh, no,
unfiltered.
no.
All right, so we got preseason changes. As far as the preseason changes go, obviously we had the elemental drakes were like the biggest change of the entire
Huge,
season.
man.
The stupid little coves in like both top and bottom.
The
I think,
alcoves.
yeah, the alcoves. I think it's a cool addition. Don't get me wrong, but it's like who gives a shit? And then so basically, let's talk about elemental drakes and how the game's kind of changed around prioritizing drakes, because I feel like before there was definitely a prioritization, but not as much as you see like 3 or 4 players kind of coming to drag at this point now.
Man, just you know me in the jungle. I've always been an objective player more than I am like a steady ganker.
Yeah.
And being an objective player, this is like my wet dream. If only we could get these NA players to follow up. Okay? So like it's the greatest thing ever. You get so much for each dragon now. Like not only like everybody's like, well, maybe it's just that one dragon doesn't do as much as it did before, but if you get the first 3 dragons, you only have to get one more dragon to get the soul. So if you pay attention in the first 2, which aren't the soul, the 3rd dragon determines the soul. So it's like if you get those first 2 and then the 3rd one spawns, you get that one, you only have to get one more after that and you get the fucking dragon soul. So it's like super big to get the first 2 because it's 10 times easier to get the other 2 because it's not as late in the game when everybody's as powerful as ever.
Yeah. Like we have obviously been playing like for almost like a season and a half together now.
Yep.
So like it used to be where you could go through an entire game, because I would play like mid or support, and you could go through an entire game as jungle, and like for the first 2 dragons, just take them, because nobody was prioritizing dragon.
Yep.
And God, what am I thinking of? What word am I thinking of? Not so not like minions, not creeps. What am I thinking of? I'm thinking
Objectives?
objectives. Yeah. So like
Yeah.
I'm going to cut that completely, but so like you literally prioritize objectives more than any other jungler that I had played with. And before you could get away with like taking the first 2 dragons right off the bat. But I feel like
Yeah.
now with the changes, like it's becoming more and more into people's minds that, oh, like all of us need to be a dragon at this point because they're getting so important.
Yeah, you can definitely tell the difference when like I'm like, all right, I played Lisa and let me go get a level 4 dragon real quick and bang it out and I can kill this before anyone notices and the bot lane already freaking warded it and the jungle's hovering over mid lane. I'm like,
Yeah, can't do it. Yeah.
later, cut
Yeah.
that.
I like the change. I think Riot listened to Double Lift when he was talking about Mountain Drakes too, because the changes to Mountain Drake from like a public perspective and not like a pro perspective. I like the changes to Mountain Drake.
Yeah, I
Because
do too.
yeah, I don't think like people didn't prioritize objectives again, like you're saying. So like there hasn't been a change to Baron as much as I know. Correct?
Not that I know of. It's all
Okay.
the same.
All right. Yeah, I mean, like that, like Double Lift was saying, it definitely helped the pros, but it didn't help in like the public in like normal and in ranked draft settings because it's just like people don't like 5-man the Baron and things like that. So it definitely helped us like do it as 2 sometimes. But I like the changes as a whole. The alcoves, like we said, bullshit. But
As far as the changes while we're on them and talking about dragons, what about the Elder Dragon?
I've only ever had that Elder Dragon once. I know that kind of says either my games are lasting really long or my team sucks, or not, or my games are lasting not that long and my team sucks. But
Yeah,
I saw it one time when we were playing together, and it has that execute, correct? Like that, it adds the execute.
It gives all 5 players a pike ult, man.
That's
And all you have to do is
ridiculous.
auto.
What?
If it gets within that threshold that it gives you the little health bar in the threshold, once it gets below that threshold, you auto, it executes.
Does Triumph make that like better at it? Not Triumph, but Coup de Grace. Coup de Grace, sorry.
I don't think it affects it. I think it just goes to like a certain like 20% health or 25% health, and then it executes.
Got it. Yeah, I mean,
That's
it seems broken. That's broken, and in pro play, it's going to be even more broken.
Yeah, I don't see it making it to the pro game. I don't see maybe some version of that was like 5% health or something, but 20% health. That's literally like a quarter of your health bar, a
Yeah,
fifth of your health bar.
yeah.
It's nuts. And you get down low and they get Elder Dragon. Even if you're like ahead and someone goes for a pick, you're like, oh, I can get away and flash while they throw a Q and you're dead. Come on, bro. It's too much. A
Yeah,
straight execute.
yeah. It'll be interesting to see if that example that you're getting, that prediction actually does come true, because that seems real broken for pro play. So
I really don't think it's gonna happen, brother.
I think overall the changes have been good. I think the map changes, like that quality of life change, it's cool. It's not the great, like it is weird when the element or the Infernal Drake spawns and like the map like turns red. Like that's the one where I'm just like, this is kind of weird. But
or you get the Ocean Dragon and it's a Rengar's wet dream.
Oh yeah,
There's all the bushes everywhere, dude. But I've not seen a Rengar on the map yet, dude.
when it first came out, we were like, "There's gonna be 20,000 Rengars playing," and I haven't seen a damn Rengar the whole time, so it's kind of crazy. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, man. This has been a great first episode. Appreciate you guys following along to the end, man. This is gonna be something that we're doing every week, and hopefully we start to get to like 2 times a week. If you guys have comments, if you guys like our content, please like, subscribe to the channel. Also, again, like I said, leave comments. We'll start pushing this on Twitter. We'll do audio versions on like iTunes, stuff like that for you guys. But again, appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all have a good night.